guys! So it's been a really long time since I have made a proper video where I just sit down and talk to you guys. Right now I'm currently in the Algoy. We are visiting, well, we're not visiting anybody, we're just kind of hanging out in my husband's parents' house because they're on holiday and we have like the whole house kind of to ourselves. Only one of his brothers is here, so it's pretty cool. And we're just like taking the car and going to the mountains and stuff. Today we went swimming at a swimming pool, and that's why my hair looks a little bit funny. So I'm gonna do an Ask Danielle. I asked you guys to submit your questions on Facebook ages ago now, so I'm finally gonna get around to answering some of your questions. First one is from Nelly Swavatsky. I have no idea if I said that right. Probably not. Getting body and mind back after having a baby. I think that the best way to answer this question, especially I can say like this from experience, especially after my first, it's pretty difficult because you're pretty preoccupied, like just taking care of this whole new human, you know, this whole other person. It really just becomes not about you anymore. So it's really hard for me to actually answer this question. I would have to say it's best to just really focus on not so much like trying to be the person that you used to be and trying to have the life back that you used to have, but more just to focus on what you can do to, I don't know, make things better for yourself in the situation you're in. So basically, I would recommend just like, you know, ask your husband to take your new child for like just 5 minutes and just really take that 5 minutes to yourself. Take a breather. Think positive things about yourself, because it can get really easy, especially when you're not feeling so good about your body, which most women don't after they have a baby. Just, I don't know, just take some time to appreciate your body and what it just did. I mean, it just created this perfect little human. So just be proud of yourself and just give it time. And before you know it, you'll be feeling closer to how you did before you had a baby. So just don't worry. This is by Katakuta Cat. Who chose Leia's name, you or hubby? My husband actually chose Leia's name. Leia's name was on my baby name list, but I never really thought much of it just as a name. I did like it a lot though, but hubby is the one who said that she's definitely a Leia, and I definitely agreed. Like after just like maybe within the first 10 minutes of him mentioning it, I was pretty dead set. That was definitely her name. It suits her 100%. Katie Green, what is your favorite part of the day and why? I really like the time like right before sunset and actually after sunset. I'm just like a big evening person. I'm not at all a morning person, and that's just like a really, I don't know, just relaxing part of the day. I think it's like, you know, the day's over, you can just sort of unwind, you know, go for a nice walk or hang out inside and just, I don't know, I just like the time of the day. I always have. This is by Karen Reimer, and this is the infamous will you have more babies question. Yes, I think that we will probably have at least one more. I really want just one more. I mean, it's hard for me to say that I guess now, but I think 3 is a good number. And the reason why I think 3 is a good number is because I don't know how to drive. I'm terrified to learn how, and when I do learn how to drive, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna want to drive a small car. So you can fit 3 kids in a small car. That's one reason. And also, most houses, like when you move into a house, like most of them have like 4 bedrooms at the most. And I feel like especially if they're gonna be like, I don't know, if I have like all girls or something, I'm pretty sure that eventually they should have their own rooms, because me and my sister, no way we could share a room once we got into our teens. So I'd really like them all to have their own rooms, you know what I mean? So I think it's a good number. And yeah, it's more than 2, and it's more difficult to juggle, but I feel like 4 is just a lot. But we'll see. Hubby really wants 4. Actually, the other day, it was so funny because I didn't know that he had like so much a desire to have a son, because he never said anything about it until yesterday. We were at the park, and I had no idea about this, but he said, but what if our next one is a girl? Will we have a 4th one then? And I was like, I don't know, the next one better be a boy if I'm gonna have to keep popping out kids just to get a boy. I personally would be totally fine with having a bunch of girls, but apparently hubby wants boys, so hopefully next time, that way we can be done. This is by Jamie Lynn Friend. What is your ideal age gap between Leia and any future children you may have? I definitely think that I want to take a little bit of a breather before I jump into having the third child, just because I don't really mind the age gap between Olivia and Leia really so far. I don't really find that there's anything wrong with it. I actually quite like it so far. It's more for me. I just want some time to fully have my body to myself, and I think I want to try to breastfeed Leia a little bit longer, because the World Health Organization does recommend until 2 years old. I stopped breastfeeding Olivia because of the pregnancy, pretty much because it just got really uncomfortable, but she also kind of self-weaned on her own. I should probably make a whole update video on that because I still haven't. But I am thinking more like waiting until Leia's 2 to start trying again for another, but I don't know, because I said that I wanted to wait to try for Leia when I was 1.5 years postpartum, so when Olivia was 1.5, but we ended up getting pregnant like a month after she turned a year, and that was kind of a spontaneous try. We got pregnant on the first try, so I kind of think that we're going to try to be a little carefuler this time and just wait it out a bit, because I think I'm going to need some more time. This is by Vanessa Lever. What would Leia be called if she had been a boy? I really don't know. The name we had actually originally planned on being Leia's name if she was a girl ended up not being her name. So we originally were really leaning towards Owen for a boy. But I don't know if that's how it would have ended up, because when you name a child, when you see them like at the birth, they may end up being completely different from the name that you chose for them. And I really, really like waiting until they're born to name them. I like that experience so much better. It was so great. We looked through a whole bunch of baby names, and she was really, really close to being named Eleonora. But we just thought that Leia was just so much more simple and cute and classic. It was just very, very much her name. It was just like 100% her name when we heard it. So Flora was the name we had kind of in mind, but when she was born, we were like, definitely not a Flora. So I really don't know what we will name a boy, but Owen is definitely one of my favorite boys' names out there at the moment. All right, this one is from Sydney Aris Hill. I definitely want to hear the pros and the cons of young motherhood and whether you suggest finding out the baby's gender. Also, are you thinking of having more children? So I already answered the first one, the pros and the cons of young motherhood. I think I'll start with the cons and then work my way up to the positives. So the cons would definitely have to be like, I just really wondered if I lived enough before I had kids, because it really, you just don't know how much your life is going to change before you have them. I think even if you did live a really, crazy, like, really exciting life before you had kids, it's still going to hit you like a ton of bricks. It's just a really, really hard transition, and I think sometimes, I'm not 100% positive, but I think the younger you are, the harder it can be on you a little bit psychologically, because I was pretty young when I had Olivia. I was 22. I didn't go to school. I didn't go to college. Well, I did a little bit. I went for like not even a semester because I just didn't have the time really for it, because I was working full time as a nanny and I had to go in the evenings, and I just got burnt out of it and hated going to school. Like, I was basically with all the kids who, like, in the college, like basically everybody in my class were like the type of people who don't want to be there. And yeah, that's a whole other story. But I really wanted the whole college experience. It just wasn't really in my plan before I had kids, apparently. So yeah, I definitely wondered if I should have just like gone to school, and you know, done more traveling with just me and my husband beforehand. We did actually do quite a bit of travels before we conceived Olivia, which I was really grateful for how long it took to conceive Olivia in the end. It took about 6 months of trying, but we tried over a course of a year. So we had a lot of traveling. Like we went to Italy, we went to France, Corsica. It was really, really fun. And but you know, I still just like, especially after Olivia was born, I went into a bit of a depression, just thinking like this is just it for me, isn't it? Like it's just, there's not going to be any more options out there for me. But it does get better with parenthood. And this time I really haven't had any of these thoughts so much like I did when I had Olivia. Obviously having your first, it's a lot harder. So I think that's been definitely the biggest con of young motherhood. Also sometimes because I do look quite young as well. Like some people think I'm a teenager, like a lot of people on YouTube, like especially on my beauty channel, like when they saw that I was pregnant in my lip balm video, like the #1 thumbed up comment, it has so much thumbs and I get so many comments like this every single day. Is she pregnant in this video? Because people think I look like I'm like 16 or something. So I do get some weird looks every now and again, especially when I was pregnant. Not as much now that I have kids. I think some people might just think I'm an au pair or a nanny or something, except for when I'm breastfeeding, then it's pretty obvious. So that's another con, but it doesn't really bug me that much. I'm just kind of used to that now. Pros, I would definitely have to say that I've had really easy pregnancies, and I do think that I can attribute this to being so young when I had my kids, because I know a lot of women who had their kids a lot older than me, like a whole 10 years older, and they've had harder pregnancies, and they don't have as much energy as I do, because it's just natural. You know, the older you get, the less energy you have. It's just how it kind of works. I mean, you can be a really, really fit person, but, and, you know, be like in your mid-30s, but, you know, the 20-year-old is still going to probably have a little bit more energy than you, unless they have a really crap lifestyle. So I definitely would have to say I have a lot of energy, and I'm really looking forward to having kind of an early retirement from my kids. Like I can have a whole bunch of kids up to my 30s and then do travels with my husband when we're older. We still do travels with our kids anyway. It doesn't stop us. It just makes it a million times more difficult. But I'm young, so I have the energy to do those kinds of things. And my husband's older, but he's quite healthy. So okay, I think that's all that I'm going to answer for today, because the video is getting pretty long and I'm running out of battery. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. There will be another vlog Friday. It's not really a vlog Friday anymore. It's just vlog whatever day of the week I can get it up. So I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.